What's up everybody? Brent from Brent Speed. It's 3-valve Wednesday, you know, one of my favorite days of the week. Today I have an 05 GT automatic Edelbrock Supercharger, the old E-Force. Of course, we did some other mods as well. We're gonna watch a dyno pull. We're gonna go down and talk about all the mods we did. And you know, this thing lays down about 480 real horsepower through the auto on 93 octane. But at the end of the video, if you want to stick around, I want to talk about some fuel pump issues we ran in on this car right here that only had 28K. But we've been seeing that a lot lately the last 2 years. So if you have a 3-valve Mustang, I suggest sticking around. So I'm going to show you some data on how you can make sure your factory fuel pump, even though maybe in your brain you think it has low miles, it's going to work well. Well, sometimes it doesn't. But hey, if you haven't, please subscribe and notify. Stay up to date. Let's go check it out. All right, 3-valve Mustang. Now, before we go down into this, I will put links in the description of all the parts we're going to talk about right now, so you can click on it and read a lot more about it. And of course, what's it cost to get installed? We're in Indiana. Email quote@brentspeed.com. This car came in bone stock. What's a bone stock? Automatic 3-valve make at the rear wheels on a dyno jet. Typically, historically, 240, 250 real horsepower, bone stock. We're adding over 200 real horsepower to that. But Doug, come down and take a look. So it's our E-Force Supercharger package. You get 41-pound fuel injectors, Kenny Belt booster pump. You get a 3.5 supercharger pulley, coming in right around 9 pounds of boost. You get the Steeda air intake. It's what we're using today. We do have a couple options between the Edelbrock air intake, Steeda. We did a set of pipes, long tube headers, and a set of our Lopi awesome Detroit rocker camshafts. Now, besides that, the rest, everything's stock. And you might wonder, is that crazy? Is that too much power on a stock engine? Don't worry. At the end of this video, I'll put a link up. You can just click on and say how much is too much for my stock 3-valve. Watch that video if you've never seen it. It'll show you a lot more. But it's a sweet setup. Automatic, 28,000 miles. Just bought this. Still has a dealer plate on the back. Came in from West Virginia. Running some fresh 93 octane. And we installed this right here, laid down killer power. Check out this dyno pull. All right, super sweet car, dyno jet, SAE, automatic, 93 octane, 480 real horsepower, peaking at 6,500 RPM. Torque comes in at 440. I love that, peaking at 4,900. And you know what? Right here, by 3,200, we're over 400 torque all the way across the board. Killer setup. I mean, we're talking adding sick power to a stock car, which is what's really cool for this client. You know, he just bought the car, it's clean, 28,000 miles, and now he's got a ton of power. And we're gonna get this thing wrapped up and send this thing back to West Virginia. So, I'm Brent from Brent Speed. Stick around. If you're a 3-valve lover, I wanna show you a little bit about fuel pump duty cycle. If you just stop by to check this out, you know, you can roll, no big deal. Check out other videos. Don't forget, I'll put links at the end talking about too much power for your stock 3-valve. But Doug, I want to get in this car. I don't know if it's going to work because I did a very generic method of logging something to show you guys some duty cycle. Normally I use a laptop, but I thought it'd be easier to show you on an old X3 device. If you have an X3 or X4, you can do this on your device as well. But it's going to show you if you have high miles or an older car, because it really doesn't matter on the miles. You buy one of our turnkey supercharger packages. There's a way you can install this and just start the car and check your duty cycle to see if your stock fuel pump over the years, because this car is what, 18 years old, it's starting to get a little bit weak. And even though we're running a booster pump, it's not going to be strong enough, which we saw on the log today. I've seen this before, and we saw it in the dyno, but we're going to look at that. So let's go down the car and take a look. So here's a little teaching I'm going to do for you. It's called fuel pump duty cycle. It's really good to do. And you do it at idle. When you put a supercharger on your car, on your 3-valve, you can look at to see if your stock fuel pump is weak or not after you've added a booster pump. Now, what I'm using today is an old school X3. The reason I like these sometimes is because I can do a quick playback and look at a poll and see exactly what's going on. Alternatively, you can use an X4 too. That'll record a run. You can export the log off and look at it on a laptop. But after doing like 1,000 of these cars, I know pretty much what's going on. I can see really quick on this. It makes it faster what's going on. But I want to use this to show you. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. I hope you can. But Doug, come down here and take a look. This is with the old fuel pump. All right. This right here. Fuel pump duty cycle says 0.25. All right. Our fuel rail pressure says 37, which isn't horrible. But what that means is, you know, max duty cycle on a fuel pump on a 3-valve is going to hit 0.5. And it's not a problem hitting 0.5 as long as your pressure stays up. Okay, that's okay. But when you run a good solid stock fuel pump and you run a Kenny Bell Booster pump or Vortec or whatever brand you're using, that fuel pump duty cycle at idle or low RPM is going to be under 0.2. So right when you put this car in the dyno, I look at the log and I'm like, okay, it's at 0.23. I knew, I was told straight up, okay, we're going to have a fuel pump problem. And we know we never used to see this, but I swear in the last 2 years, even though this car's got 28,000 miles, we're going on like 18, or really going on like 20 years old, you know, things wear out. So that told me right away, watch the air fuel on the dyno. This car's probably going to lean out up top. It's probably going to drop pressure, and it's exactly what it did. So, Doug, come over here. We're going to turn this log on. What do you think? Can you guys see that, Doug? What do you think?
Yeah.
All right. So right here, RPM, we're at 2,600. I'm going to run this up. Actually, I just shifted right there. It's going to go up through the RPMs. You don't really need to worry about anything else, but right here, I'm on a wide open throttle pull. All right, so this is your RPMs. We're at 3,400. Everything's going up. We're about, I'm going to stop it here at about 5,000. At 5,000, duty cycle says 0.5. That tells me the fuel pump, even though as a booster pump, is doing everything it can do. Pressure already came down to 36. All right, we're looking for 3940 or higher, all the way up to 5560, depending on the tune, depending on the car. So we're going to go up a little higher. We're going to run this all the way up to about, let's say, a little over 6,000, like right there, 6,300. Again, 0.5, which is what you expect. It's maxed out. Now our pressure dropped to 26. That is not what you're looking to see. You only see that when a stock fuel pump is weak. So what's the solution? Upgrade the fuel pump. We put in a DW fuel pump, and then we put it in, and I did a log on a different programmer, so I can show you that one, just so you can see here, what does it look like when you actually have the proper fuel pump that's not weak with a booster pump. You're gonna look at the duty cycle. I'm gonna explain what you're looking for with that, and then we're gonna let the RPMs go up. I'm gonna show you what it is. So I'm gonna switch these real quick and we'll check it out. All right, I know it sucks. I'm showing you on this little screen, and which is a little bit more high tech, popping up laptop screenshots for you guys to look at. But I do these videos quick. They're just kind of like, hey, here's what's going on today in the shop. But check this out. So this is a new fuel pump in. Here's what you're looking for. So you put your, blower on, your booster pump, everything. We like to see around 0.18 on the fuel pump duty cycle, 1.9, possibly touching 0.2 at idle. All right, if you see that, everything's working good on the stock fuel pump. If you put a booster pump on and you have your stock fuel pump and that thing straight off the bat at idle 0.23, hey, I might as well just change the fuel pump. That way the car don't lean out at the top and the fuel pressure drops. So we have the DW pump in. Doug, come down and take a look. So idle, this is 0.18. But right now we're not idle. We're driving it on the dyno. We're at almost 2,200 RPM. If you can see that there, Doug. Can you see that? Our duty cycle is 0.2. Pressure's right at like 39. So I'm just going to run this through the gears. We're going to let it go up. Just shifting and forth right there, getting to go wide open throttle. Everything's preparing for wide open. And you can do this with your X4 as well. You got to export it to look at it on your laptop. But all right, so we're at wide open throttle right here. RPMs are climbing. We're going to come up. We're going to hit about 4,500. I'm going to stop it. About right there. Let's see what we got. So 4,600 RPM. Duty cycle 0.48. Remember when that pressure started dropping or was right under 40? We're at 59. Because in certain cars, certain years, I will run high pressure at certain RPM. Maybe not all the RPM, but this is what you want to see. You know everything's going to be good. But your big concern, doesn't matter what this pressure is. I don't care if you see 60. I don't care if you see 40 or 39. I don't care if you see that duty cycle hitting 0.5. You want it to stay up in that area. When you start seeing it drop into the 20s, that's when you have a problem. So we're going to go ahead and let this RPM go up a little bit more. I'll just stop it one more time and then we'll wrap this up. But like, there's 5,500. Now, it's no problem. Duty cycle shows 0.5. That's not a problem. Look at my pressure. We're at 50. I'm cranking pressure on this car right here. That's fine. And then based off the RPM, based on what's going on, I'm going to adjust that in the tune. But that's what you want to see. So, hope it's not too complicated. This is just about, hey, so listen. I don't care if you have 5,000 miles on your car. If it's 18, 20 years old or 15 years old, things take a shit, okay? Maybe a sensor, might be a fuel pump. I know it's a little like, okay, think about this. You store your car. You bought it brand new. It's got 10,000 miles on it. It's 15, 20 years old. What kind of condition do you think your tires are in, okay? Probably dry rotted, probably shit from sitting. Same thing with the fuel pump. So now these cars are getting a little bit older. It's a good thing to check. Simple solution. You start it up, you log it. Your duty cycle is over 0.2, I should say. I suggest putting in a DW pump. I'll put a link in the description. That'll solve that. It'll drop your duty cycle down to that 0.18 area, and you'll be good to go. So, hey, I'm Brent from Brent Speed. I am not going to sit here and tell you guys how to do what I just did. SCTflash.com has a lot of help on how to do logging, all right? And you can Google it and figure that out as well. I just want to show you what you're looking for, and hopefully it'll help someone out in the end who buys, you know, a 3-valve Mustang, and you wonder, is my car good? And you wonder, is my fuel pump good? The duty cycle is the first thing to check. So again, subscribe, notify, stay up to date. Quote at BrentSpeed.com. What's it cost to get installed? We're in Indiana. Hope you enjoyed it. 3-valve Wednesday. Cool car, cool video. Thanks for watching.